Hello, autofocus viewers, this is Richard. I'm back and I have this beautiful black on black Aston Martin Vantage. It's a 2019. I have it on loan. My car is in for some routine service at Newport Beach, Aston Martin. And I just want to take you for a quick walk around this car, then we'll get in and we'll drive it a little bit. This car was based on the DB10. They only made about 10 of them and they were all for the movie Spectre, the James Bond movie from a couple of years ago. But this is the new design language. There are a lot of things I like about it. Now this car happens to be equipped with steel brakes. Carbon ceramics are going to be an option. And this car, as you can see, behind the wheel well has a vent for extracting hot air and also for alleviating any pressure under the wheel wells. I like how they've sculpted the roof. And I'm going to take you inside the car briefly. We'll do a little bit more inside a little bit later in this video. But this car, you can see, is entirely black Alcantara with just a few leather accents. It's very much a black on black car that my friend Chris refers to it as the perfect car for Darth Vader. We'll come back inside in a moment and give you another look at it. But it's really an interesting spec, much different from some of the other Vantages that I've looked at and others that I've driven. So as we come back here in this three-quarter view, you can see the haunches. It's got a really muscular rear on this car. It's got a really interesting, almost race-derived diffuser package down here on the bottom. This has dual exhaust. There is a quad exhaust option. The dual exhaust cars can actually be retrofitted. A nice built-in spoiler in the back of the car that leads to the very generous hatchback. You'll see that in a minute. And again, a really nice view here. One of my favorites is this three-quarter view. The new design language looks great on this car, and then as we back away from it, you can see it has a really attractive profile as well. Okay, I've jumped inside here, and I want you to check the dash. In this binnacle, you see to the left and right, there's a tachometer, suspension, and powertrain settings. And as I cycled through them, you might have noticed that the RPM changed, so the tach was showing the high RPMs at the top of the gauge. And now I'm going to go through the rest of the cabin fairly quickly here. Chris and I covered this a little bit more on an earlier Vantage video and also one on the DB11 Volante. And it's really an interesting cluster. One thing about this is everything is buttons. It's a good feel, and once you've been in this car a bit, you know exactly where the button is. You don't have to deal with a touchscreen. If you don't want the touchscreen, this is the car for you. You saw in passing that all the seat adjustments are on each side of the drive tunnel, which is handy. I can reach over and change the settings of, say, a passenger seat if I want to. And again, totally black on black. I think it's a really neat spec with this car. And now as we go off here onto the door, you'll see that the black is picked up on the surrounds for the speakers, the door handle, even the armrest with some piano black accents. So I think it's a really nice kit here. And even the shift paddles. So as we close out on the steering wheel here, you'll see the buttons to the left and right of center for doing suspension and powertrain settings. Okay, I've opened a hatch now, and I want to show you the large compartment here for storage. You can see there's a barrier that is currently in the up position. I can drop that in a minute. A lot of room here in the back. These cars come with battery conditioners. I've had these on many of my cars. If you're not driving it all the time, or especially in winter, they're handy. And then the instruction manual and other literature that comes with the car. But there's a lot of room back here. And again, very functional. I've dropped this partition now so that you can actually put very long items throughout here. So again, very large opening, very functional. I know what you're thinking. Where is the Aston Martin brand umbrella? Well, there it is at the top of the hatch. So while I have this loaner, I want to give you a couple driving impressions. Obviously we're not driving now because the car's a little loud, And from Chris's and my experience, the sound might not be too good when we crank up one of these loud, high-performance cars. A couple comparisons to the GT3. This has, as I mentioned in the walk-around, it has 3 modes: Sport, Sport Plus, and Track. Both on the powertrain settings, the mapping of the engine and the transmission, which is the ZF 8-speed, which is excellent, and also on the suspension side, also Sport, Sport Plus, and Track. In Sport, it's actually stiffer than my GT3 in its normal mode. In Track mode, I think it's actually a little bit stiffer. The car handles well. It's a testament to Matt Becker, who came over from Lotus as the head of engineering and I guess performance dynamics, but steering is great. Even things like turning circle is very sharp, and car handles well. It really goes where you want to point it. A couple things you'll notice: really big shift paddles here. I like it. In this car, and I think on the other Aston Martin cars like the DB11, once you put it in manual mode with your first shift, it stays there. That's good sometimes because you're never surprised by maybe after 5 seconds you're back in automatic mode. On the other hand, I've come diving up to a stop, downshifting, the light turns green, and I'm in like 5th gear. So it's an 8-speed, by the way, and so you know, there's benefits both ways. It's easy to get it back into automatic. Just hold the D button or hold the right pedal back for a few seconds. The car has 503 horsepower, a little bit more torque than the AMG GTS. First edition, I had a launch edition 2016, a little bit more torque than that car, and frankly, a little better sound, which they're pretty darn proud of. So let's get this thing going. I'll temporarily ignore the low fuel light. If I coast to a stop, that means I went a little bit too far. This is a loaner, so I don't want to do anything too dramatic. So let's get rolling. You can just watch me get out of this little development. Right now I'm in sport mode. That's the most the softest mode. I'm waiting for a little traffic here. You know, one thing I like about these Aston Martins is they have nice clunky turn signals. I've had Porsches for about 20 years, and after every service, the nice people there say, you know, how was your service experience? Is there anything you've changed? I say, no. My Porsche is perfect except for one thing. Could you make the turn signal louder? Because what happens is, I'm driving in my Porsche for like 5 miles with the turn signal on. And, you know, 20 years ago, I could say, I feel like a senior citizen. Now, I'm a senior citizen, and I don't like indicating that I'm making a left turn like 10 miles ahead. So this car has a really nice and a loud turn signal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the windows up. At least we can get rid of some of the road noise. I'm going to put this now into track mode, of course. And I think I'll dial up the suspension a little too. And we've got a garbage truck I'm going to play chicken with. No, I'm not. It's going into a development here. I will, as I said, because this is a loaner and it's only got 451 miles, I don't want to drive it too hard. But after I get up here, I'll just slow down a little bit, clip off a couple of downshifts, and then we'll take it right down to 1st gear. Okay, here we go. Hope you can hear this. On the interior shots, one thing I like about this car, it doesn't have a real smooth leather finish here. I like Alcantara steering wheels. This is sort of a rougher leather, much better. This is good, very comparable to Alcantara. Flat bottom, as I said, great for your basic thick-thighed people, or when this car gets a manual, when you're doing that heel and toe double clutching that I used to love to do in downshifting, you got plenty of room, and also when you're turning the wheel. Turning radius on this is fast, and I can, you know, this has really like Porsche precision, and I'm like such a Porsche guy, whether 911s or Boxsters, but it has good precision and good dynamics. Responsiveness is great. With a twin turbo hot V setup, you really are never lacking for power, and again, power in this car is great at 503, and you know, I said, why don't you guys crank it up over the AMG version? And they go like they just wink, that they maybe have a little bit more in it than the AMG. Just gonna bring the revs up a little again. Oh, that is sweet. That is really sweet. So, okay, folks, I'm gonna sign off this like driving segment, and we hope Chris can get some of this posted fairly quickly on his website. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. It's a fairly new website. Chris is up to almost 1,000 subscribers, which is great for a non-commercial guy. By the way, speaking of commercials, this is a loaner from Newport Beach, Aston Martin. I've gotten to drive this car quite a bit. We did a video with my DB11, and Chris and I borrowed a DB11 Volante, and we did an earlier one with a Vantage. Check that out, and I think because I'm at a stoplight, I'm going to shut this thing off. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Take care, guys. And he said I did this chicane on a test as quickly as anybody else. So here we are in track mode. Let's see what we can do here. Tap the brakes. Hard on the apex. Flip back. Check for traffic. Don't drift into the other lane.